I told Coach Nazir I wanted to talk to her, and he just was awesome at just stepping out of the room and letting me do that while going, what are you going to say? It wasn't that. I like that he was like, let me go, let them talk, let them have it, because he knew it needed to happen. And I said to her, I don't know what I said right before, but I distinctly remember saying, if you did anything to try to get Nazir away from us, then Allah will destroy your marriage and you won't know why. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, for those of you that are new, I'm in polygyny with my awesome co-wife, Coach Nyla, who this video is actually about. It's a story time about this time I kind of confronted her, but it wasn't really a confrontation. We're monogamously married to Coach Nazir. He's married to me. I'm an initial wife. Just that is for those of you that are new. We're not picking teams. This ain't football. And then my co-wife, Coach Nyla, she's monogamously married to him. So we're not married to each other. Okay. I want to get that little bit of housekeeping and great details out of the way. Now, this story time is important because this video is really about confronting your co-wife in conflict. Now, I was conflicted. My co-wife was not conflicted in the same way I was, because she really looked at the entire family. And I knew that because I sat and actually talked to her and I actually listened to her side of things, her experience, what her challenges were, what her intentions were. That mattered the most to me. And I don't give compliments to people unless I feel as though they really, really deserve them, because I love people. Like, I'm an extrovert, but I don't like everybody. Does that make sense? I'm not for everybody. Everybody ain't for me. That's how I feel. So, and I've accepted that. But I really wanted to get to know her outside of being Coach Nazir's subsequent wife. And I usually say wife. I don't say subsequent wife unless I'm addressing our social media platforms, because people don't know and we get new people all the time. Welcome to you all and shout out to you. I don't like saying ride or dies, but our regular supporters. Thank you for the du'as and the kind compliments. And you guys are so awesome. You make this easier. I'll just say that. Now, let me digress. I learned a lot about Coach Nyla because she really opened herself up to me. And I know that wasn't easy, but she was always willing. That's the part about our story that everybody might not know. She was always willing. I wasn't, because I thought polygyny was for Coach Nyla. I'm like, you deal with that. I'll deal with this. We keep it gangster and keep it cute. And it was just because I didn't know they had gotten married. I didn't need to know, but I needed to know. It was one of those. I didn't think of myself as somebody that had power, and I wanted this power because I needed to know and I needed to be involved and I needed to plan it and I needed to okay and green light it. That man is grown and so is she. Same way I didn't ask nobody to marry him and he asked to marry me, but we didn't get clearance. We were grown. We were adults when we got married. So I didn't grow up Muslim. My father and my grandfather were not willing to participate in any way, shape, or form because they didn't like Islam. It's just clear and simple. The women were like, oh, God, here they come with that Islam. Here they come with this Islamic marriage. This is some crap, but I'll go. And they weren't so arrogant as to say that to us, but you can tell energy. You can read the room. You can see that it's like, y'all are young. Why now? Why not now? I want to build a family in a moral way. I don't want to just piece things together because it's inconvenient or whatever. People get married for a plethora of reasons, and I wanted the family that I wanted, and so did Coach Nazir. So we had a goal. Mind you, I wasn't willing to share my husband. Now it's a different story. We've been in polygyny 12 years. So please don't compare our 12th year with your first year. Our first year was a mess. It was not easy for anybody because polygyny is happening to everybody, not just initial wives, subsequent wives, husbands. If it's happening to our children, it's happening to extended family. They don't understand. They don't want to understand. They, want to blame, shift and shift blame. It just was a mess. And any one of us will say that it wasn't the worst polygyny could be, but it wasn't the best our family could be. So we all remember our own trauma, but we said collectively at different times, look, this ain't, we're not going to keep this up. This is not a good look. This is not healthy for us. It's not healthy for our children, although we tried to really safeguard them from much of it. But my daughters are very teenagery when their father married again. So they were at these transitional ages, and he had to, and I love that he did that. He sat them down without me so that they could have an open conversation. Because sometimes kids are like, my mama's here, I ain't gonna answer it that way because she's here and she might feel away. No, they felt how they felt and they said it. So I love that. Anyway, this video is about my co-wife and I. One day we were, and I had seen her. We knew her before Islam. This is not somebody that just fell out of the sky. We knew her before she was Muslim actually, and she's done videos about that. So no one can tell her story better than her. But I'm gonna try my best to tell my part, where I came in at. And we were alone in a conference room at a library, and I just had to say this to her. And I knew she was not this evil woman that sought to destroy our family, but I didn't know her like I know her now. So I had to say this to her. And she just took it in stride, I'm telling you. She just took it in stride. She might have been falling to pieces on the inside or strong as a rock. I don't know. But she took it in stride because I told her, Coach Nazir, I wanted to talk to her, and he just was awesome at just stepping out of the room and letting me do that while going, what are you going to say? It wasn't that. I like that he was like, let me go, let them talk, let them have it, because he knew it needed to happen. And I said to her, I don't know what I said right before, but I distinctly remember saying, if you did anything to try to get Nazir away from us, then Allah will destroy your marriage and you won't know why. And she said to me, and she was like, oh no, I would never do that. She was so good, and that's what I needed to hear from her. And I don't know if she knows how powerful those words were to me that day. And she didn't know I was going to do this video. We didn't plan this. We just put our content up and off we go. But this was more of an impromptu video that I felt the need to discuss and use it as a teaching moment. But she was so awesome at saying that with sincerity in her heart and in her eyes, because, honey, I could see BS a mile away, maybe farther than that. But I knew she was sincere, and I knew it wasn't the easiest situation to be in that room with me. And I know it could have been overwhelming for her, possibly even intimidating, because that was the first time I had actually confronted her about it. But I needed to say that. I knew I couldn't move forward with her if I didn't get that off my chest. If I didn't say this to you, that if you were being divisive in any way, like she could beat him over the head and drag him away from us. If you knew her like I know her, if I knew her like I know her now, I would have never said it, because I would have known better. But I don't know you like that, so I had to say it. But if you all knew her, and I think some of you gotten to know her, she's not that lady. She's not that woman. She's not that sister. She's not that Muslim. She wanted the whole family as a whole, because she comes from a blended family, and she got so good at it. It's like you don't even think about it anymore. Why not? So I get the wisdom in that, and I get her side of things. And I was able to meet her with a lot of understanding after she said that. Because she could have said, I married your husband, and what? She could have said that. She could have said, I married him, get over it. She could have said, look, I don't want to hear it. She could have said anything. And she just was like, I would never do that. Meaning, I would never do so many things that you think I'm trying to do. And I would never try to break up your house, your family. And a lot of people say, well, she did. Well, no, she didn't, because even if she wanted to, if even that was her greatest desire, she didn't have the power to do that, because I'm married to Coach Nyla and he's married to me. And there's nobody else in that marriage but us. That's the power of going from monogamy to polygyny. That's the power of being monogamously married to a man in polygyny, is that nobody has the power to destroy our marriage but the two of us. Same way I don't have the desire to destroy theirs. Nobody can wreck that marriage but the two of them. So when I discovered that, when I reminded myself of that, and when I spoke to her firmly that day, but with sincerity and a lot of pain in my heart, I meant every word. And she opened the door to understanding and listening and knowing full well that I might say such a thing, that I might have a reason to. See, everybody ain't so good at seeing both sides or the big picture or understanding people or hearing and listening to people with their heart, right? But she's very good at it. So I applaud her for that, because it's not easy, especially on that day. I remember that day was overcast, and we were in a huge conference room, and it was just me and her. And I love the fact that she allowed me to say that without resisting, without saying something snippy, getting slick, whatever the case. And that's just not her MO. It's just not. But she's very rare in a certain regard, because she's able to see both sides of any situation, I'm telling you. I applaud her. I do. Shout out to Coach Nyla, because I'm sure she remembers that day. She's awesome with like names and events and remembering what she's been through and what a lot of people around her that she loves have been through. And sometimes she takes it all on because she wants to fix it and she wants people to feel better. But that needs to be reciprocal, you know. So when I see that she doesn't feel well, I crack a joke. I don't know. I had this outfit on, y'all, but we did a video and she was tired by the end of this video. And I said to put something in the comments. I don't know who's been here long enough to remember what it was, but it went all the way wrong. And it was hilarious. And I mean, me and her were almost crying at the end of the video of laughter. And somebody said, I love the love between you two, the sisterhood between you two. And I do too. And I thank them for that. So does Coach Nyla. She loves the sisterhood between us too. This is not about being married to Coach Nazir and having each other's back because we're married to Coach Nazir. He's in addition to that. Absolutely. He's our family. He's our husband. But should something happen to him, or he should become ill or sick or travel or whatever the case may be, Allah forbid, God forbid, I always tell her she's got me for life. So she, you know, I love her and there ain't nothing she can do about it. So there's been a lot of growth in the last 12 years because it didn't happen overnight, y'all. It took years for me to let her into my world, years, because I got to get to know you and I got to look at patterns. And I just simply was not ready. When I don't like someone or I don't appreciate their presence, they know it and I don't have to say a word to them, even to this day. So I had to experience a lot of growth in order to love her and let her love me and get to know me. You know, I'm not somebody she needs to bow down to. I'm not somebody that's controlling her or someone that she has to prove something to. The only person that she had to kind of crack into that hard shell that I had those many years ago was me. It was about me and her getting this understanding, her understanding that, okay, if it's this, then this might be the result. Just know it. You know, that's it. So it wasn't a threat. It was just something that I know happens to people that have divisive intentions. Their lives tend to fall apart and they go, what happened? You didn't know why, did you? So I had to learn that that wasn't her attribute. It just isn't. Togetherness is her attribute. Togetherness and understanding and care and compassion are her attributes. So, and honey, let me tell you something. I dare anybody to prove me wrong. I triple dog dare them to prove me wrong. People have met us in real time in our real lives. They've met us off this camera and they know, they're like, you guys are just like you are on YouTube. Yeah, you get a piece of our lives, but not all of it. Not all of it. We've been through some stuff together. She and I have been through some stuff together. So that's what I'm saying. This sisterhood is real. We've been through deaths together, illness together, trauma, certain traumas together. And we talked about our childhood traumas together. So sometimes when people pass away in the way in which they do, you never know who you're going to lean on. You never know who you're going to need. And maybe I'll be her forever big non-biological sister. Don't that sound like a virus? Anyway. I be killing myself, y'all. That's all right. I be snickering all day because I think it's something funny. But all jokes aside, I'm kind of like her big sister. So we share things, and I try my best to kind of protect her as such, but without crossing lines. She's grown. And she's been all right this far without me being around going, watch out, wait, stop, hold on, I just want her to take care of herself and give as much to herself as she gives to everybody else. She's an INFJ, if you don't know what that is, an introvert, intuitive, feeling, judging. If you're not familiar with the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator, go over there and take the test. I think it's 16personalitytypes.com, I believe. I don't know. I'm going to see if it's put in the description for this video. But yes, if you have to confront your co-wife, if there's some miscommunication, it doesn't have to be a hostile environment. It's best that it's not. It's best to just say what you need to say without traumatizing someone else, because they might not know what's going on. They might not know. And it's okay to be firm, but to be rude and to be disrespectful is a whole nother thing. I had to make sure my tone was correct, and I had to make sure that I didn't beat around the bush, and I gave clarity, because then she didn't have to figure me out. And she kind of knew. She's not stupid. And she's actually pretty smart. So, and she feels energy really well, like most women do. So if you need to have a hard conversation with your co-wife, have it respectfully and with the proper tone, and create some healthy boundaries for each other, and just know that they have their own story and it doesn't have to look like ours. They have their own life, their own story, and their own experiences. So with that, guys, make sure that you are commenting, liking, and subscribing. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware every time we upload a video. You're going to want to go to here on Facebook and YouTube, where Outstanding Personal Relationships, and on IG, where Outstanding Relationships. Make sure you check out our Polygyny Masterclass at polygynymasterclass.com. It's really awesome information if you want to just learn more, if you're just serious and not just curious. Head on over there. You want to check it out. And be sure to pick up your polygamy roadmap. There's one for men and for women at polygamyroadmap.com. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give you a little GLC as we always do. Make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Coach Fatimah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
We are also the authors of the new ebook, The Polygamy Roadmap. Two different roadmaps, one specifically for men and the other
for women.
Naturally. So no matter where somebody is in their journey, whether they're considering it and what's required, especially men I'm talking to, I share the 5 requisites on really what it takes to build a healthy, successful polygynous family unit. So with that being said, make sure if you're a man and if you're serious, not just curious, you take action and get it today.
And in the women's polygamy roadmap, we talk about the different feelings that women might go through with emotions of fear, challenge, betrayal, jealousy.
Yes, and we give you some good insight as well as tips, anecdotes, as well as some of our stories of struggle in the polygamy roadmap too for women. And you will find out really how to have a type of confidence in yourself after reading this. I'm truly, truly in the mindset that you would anyway.
Indeed. So do what you got to do. And that means go to polygamyroadmap.com, grab your copy. We look forward to you benefiting from it and joining us in our private community. With that being said, Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.